Leading up to and after the release of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in theaters, there was a ton of hype around potential Across the Spider-Verse figures. Everyone in the community already knew what this really meant for all of us. New Spider-Man 2099 action figures. Now, if you're a real die-hard Spider-Man figure fan, when you were 9 years old in the year 2010, you played a little game called Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, featuring our favorite futuristic freedom fighter himself, which was one of the many influences that led to the gradual but inevitable rise of Spider-Verse in popularity. So you fell in love with the game, and of course you wanted a Spider-Man 2099 action figure, but when you looked up Spider-Man 2099 action figure online, all you found was the Spider-Man Classics and Spider-Man Origins versions, which even then were less than impressive. And there's been like 4 that have come out since then. I cannot understate this. This is a big deal. Of course, us fans were foaming at the mouth to get the potentially new best Spider-Man 2099 figure, so when the Marvel Legends version released to generally mediocre reviews, we all collectively cried out in silence for some noble import action figure company to come and save us all. Then, out of the darkness, SH Figuarts announced their version of the iconic character, and the fandom rejoiced. There was only one thing in the way: $130 MSRP. Welcome back to Riley's Collection. I'm Riley, and today we're gonna find out if this Spider-Man 2099 figure is really worth all the hype, and more importantly, if it's really worth all the money. Miguel O'Hara's appearance in Across the Spider-Verse was really the first time the original 2099 black suit had been so drastically modernized, and SH Figuarts captured the look almost perfectly. And yes, his costume is supposed to be black, but I think we've all collectively decided it's blue, and to be honest, I like that better anyway. As I was saying, they've almost captured the look of this character perfectly. That seems like a reoccurring theme with these Across the Spider-Verse figures from Bandai. I felt that their Miles Morales figure was so close to where I think it needed to be, and it just slightly missed the mark. And I'm feeling a similar way about this new Spider-Man 2099 in a handful of ways. The first being the quality of this figure. The first thing I noticed when I picked this guy up is how cheap it feels. There's something about the plastic they used here that just seems off to me. It feels weak and slightly hollow. Now, I don't think anyone is going to break this figure from regular use, but it just doesn't feel as good in the hand as other Figuarts releases in the same price range. I think it's a combination of the cheap feeling plastic, the creaky joints with inconsistent tolerances, and the overly flexible knee joints that make this figure feel less than stellar in hand. Also, sometimes the kneecaps just fall off because I guess they forgot to glue them in. That already seems like a lot of problems for a figure that costs 5 times more than the Marvel Legends version, but maybe the paint and detail can save this figure. I will say the sculpt of this guy is really nice. He has a ton of texture throughout the body in form of raised and recessed circuit piping sculpted in. The details of the spider symbol are nice and sharp, and the red paint all throughout is clean with no bleeding on the edges. He has nice big shoulders, which maybe could have been slightly bigger, but they look bigger when you push them forward. He cuts the perfect silhouette for this character, and he almost looked like he walked right off screen. Those are all great things this figure has going for it, but I think it's still missing something. This figure has 0 shading anywhere on the body. That's insane to me considering the figure's price tag. SH Figuarts has done beautiful shading on figures in the past, but now when they release a character that is portrayed having heavy black shading on him in the source material, they don't even give him a damn wash. This figure looks flat. And yeah, you can kind of fix that with the lighting because of the amazing sculpt, but this just looks unfinished. I could forgive this if it was a $50 or $60 figure maybe, but again, this cost me $130, and so far I am not impressed. At first glance, the handful of accessories this figure comes packed in with look pretty solid, but there are definitely some pros and cons here. First off, the figure comes with 3 sets of hands: fists, open hands, and claw hands. All the hands are sculpted and painted nicely and easily swap on and off the figure. Although I don't know what other hands he could possibly come with, I do feel like the amount of hands is underwhelming for this guy. I wish they would have given us some more specific gestures from certain scenes, maybe even some pointing hands or something. The figure also comes with one interchangeable head that features Miguel's unmasked look. The head sculpt is on point and is painted very nicely, but the expression he has on his face is just weird. He almost looks confused, and one of his eyes being slightly bigger than the other just adds to the oddness of this look. Again, I wish they would have given us at least one more head sculpt with a different expression, maybe an angry fangs out face, or even another masked head with squinted eyes. There's a lot they could have done, and it feels like a massive missed opportunity. The web lines he comes with though are pretty dope. They're cast in a bright red plastic and sculpted to look almost electronic, like they are in the movie. These look really good, and it would have been cool if they came with 2 long ones and 2 short ones, but sadly he only comes with one of each. The highlight of the accessories has to be these watches he comes with. We get one for Miguel and one for Gwen as well. Between the 2 different sizes, you can use this not only for these figures, but also with many other figures, which is really cool. Finally, we come to the main event, so to speak, of these accessories, that being the cape. The cape looks really dope and far more accurate than the Marvel Legends version. It has light piping throughout the inside so that when the light hits it in the right way, it shines through the back and it looks really cool. It ports on and off the back, and when you're not using it, you can plug up the hole with this little red arrow piece. As cool as it looks, I hope this isn't where all the money went for this set, because I will never use this thing apart from maybe the odd photo here or there. And the reason why is because this cape is made of a hard plastic, brittle hard plastic. It has no flex at all and will break under minimal pressure. At the bottom of it, there's these sculpted in rips and tears, and one of the little end pieces on mine already has stress marks on it just from sitting around. I genuinely have no idea how it even happened. It does have a hinge on it, but it barely has any range. So yeah, this thing is almost useless. We also don't get a flight stand with this figure like we did with the last 2 for some reason. The accessories included here are passable at best, and I'm kind of struggling to see where the money went with this set. One thing that I think really sets this figure apart from other 2099 action figures is his range of motion. This Spider-Man can move for sure. Before I even talk about the articulation though, I need to show you how to fix the diaphragm. Pop apart the figure at the torso. Once you're here, you'll notice the double ball joint attached to the inside of his abdomen. If you look closely, you can see a small disc right above the bottom ball. This hinders the joint's capabilities and limits his range of motion. What we want to do is take it out and flip it upside down. You can heat up the plastic using some hot water or a hair dryer and find something that won't damage the plastic to help pry it out. Then plug the disc end into the chest piece, then push the whole thing back together. Once you do this, the range of motion is significantly increased. Now we can talk articulation. The head looks up pretty far, doesn't go down too much, but that's okay because he articulates at the neck and looks down this far. The neck doesn't get too much backward range though. The head and neck combine to get some massive tilt. Butterfly joints move in and out pretty well, and some up and down. Full rotation at the shoulder, but my left shoulder is way tighter than the right one for some reason. Shoulder hinges get excellent up and down. Full rotation at the bicep. Double jointed elbow moves all the way in. Wrist hinge works great and gets full rotation. The diaphragm without the mod gets minimal range, but with the help of that little trick, it's increased by a ton. The waist gets some forward and back motion, but if you combine it with the diaphragm mod, you get quite a lot more. Full rotation at the diaphragm, but not at the waist. Legs move straight forward, straight back, and he can't quite do a split, but he does have the butt flap articulation, so you can kind of work around that limitation. Thigh cut gets some swivel, but doesn't quite go all the way around. Double jointed knees move all the way in. However, the kneecaps routinely fall off, which is incredibly annoying. Phenomenal ankle rocker, foot hinges all the way up and down, full rotation at the ankle, and toe hinge works perfectly. Before utilizing the diaphragm mod for this figure, which is very simple and easy to do, I'd say the articulation is like an 8 out of 10, but after it's like a 9.7. It's almost perfect. It really should have come out of the box that way, especially again for $130, but I'll let the figure have the win on this one. This Spider-Man 2099 figure from SH Figuarts can definitely shatter dimensions, but sadly, not my expectations. Some of you may not have expected such a negative review of this figure. Some of you may suggest I'm hating just to hate, but the most disappointing truth is that I don't hate this figure at all. I love it still, despite its many faults. However, that alone doesn't make it a penny worth the plastic it's molded with. I enjoy this figure because I adore the Spider-Verse films and this character, but it's still a massive disappointment to me. I wish I could recommend this figure to all of you, but I just can't. Not at that retail price and not for this level of quality. Point blank, it's just not up to snuff for what I expect out of a high-end Figuarts release. I hate to say it, but the previous two, less expensive releases, being Miles and Gwen, definitely outshine this figure. In any case, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think of the figure down below in the comments. If you did enjoy the video, please remember to drop a like. It really does help this channel out. And if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, because subscribing to this channel gives you lifetime virtual access to my collection. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Alright guys, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all in the next one.